This is the Night Owls Disc Golf Podcast, and this is our Monday episode. I'm Shane.
And I'm JP.
And today we are going to talk about a disc golf reboot. What is that, you may ask? It is. If you could start disc golf over, here are the three things that will remain: is the tee pad, the disc, and the basket. And obviously the course. But how would disc golf look if you could completely reset everything and change it the way you wanted it to?
That's a tough one. I mean, it's kind of fun to think about building it from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, definitely have to enforce the 30-second rule.
Okay.
I think
30-second rule is real.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun to think about just making your own rules and whatever.
Well, it's nice to do because we have history. So your mindset and your knowledge wouldn't change. So we have a history of things that work and don't work, organizations that maybe are good or maybe not, and different tours that are happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also our rule set that sometimes you look at it and go, why?
Yeah.
Or maybe that's great for AMs, but not for pros. I think we have a lot of things that we can base our selections off of. So I'll start and saying that I believe that the PDGA will keep them, but as a governing body only, not as a tour management or I think it can be a sanctioning body.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
I don't think they run leagues. They don't run tournaments. They don't run like all the stuff that they're doing right now. I think they should truly focus on the management of the amateur side and growth of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we limit the scope of what the PDGA does for disc golf.
Yeah.
So that would be my first choice.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good one. Just, focus on rules and, just keep it simple.
Yeah. Basics,
Yeah.
and amateur side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that the Pro Tour should work in tandem, not for the PDGA, but I think the Pro Tour should be the umbrella that falls over professional events.
Okay. Yeah.
So kind of like, I guess there's no kind of like, it would make it more like every other professional sport out there.
Sure.
There would be kind of the players union.
Yep.
Who fights for what they want.
Yep.
And I'm giving air quotes when I say players union because I don't know if a players union is proper or correct at this point.
It is. I mean, MLB, has players associations. NFL has players associations.
Okay,
like
associations maybe be but those are unions, right? Or are they?
In a way, they're, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's really union, but like they have representatives of there's always a player representative who represents everybody, like as a chair. And then there's like at least 2 or 3 other people, part of the like a board almost that like oversees the Players Association, and they're the ones that represent. And I guess it is union talks because there's a lot of labor negotiations, as far as like work hours, practice hours, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm good with the negotiation part just now with the labor because, I don't think disc golf is in the need of a union quite yet. I don't think we're to that level. And I think and I'm not anti-union or for union. I'm not saying that. I just think that the direction that disc golf is going, I think when there's too many hands in the cookie jar, it muddles things a bit.
I think too, well, yeah, it's interesting too because the players, when it comes to work, technically the only work that they have going for themselves right now is to play the events that are scheduled if they want to. Right. They're not required to play those events. Like the NFL, they are required, if to get a paycheck, you have to play the 16 games or however many.
And there's practice, and there's workouts, and there's blah, blah, blah. You go on and on.
And pretty much right now all of that's voluntary for disc golf.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's promotional events. There's so many different things that true professional athletes on the, what would you call it, the big five or whatever, the five big athletics.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the type of things. And when they're, especially when they're team, they're not individual sports. So like the PGA, and I know we're comparing golf to disc golf, the PGA is probably the closest comparison to it because those are individual players that play for themselves through manufacturers, sponsorship.
Yeah.
The PDGA or the PGA has nothing to do with the player other than the ruling. And that's it. They're the officials. They set up the tours and that's it. And I think that's where we can take the stuff that works well from PGA and adapt them to disc golf. So, and when you talk about like players and labor unions and health insurance and all that stuff, it just has to be up to the player. I mean, they are an individual playing a sport, and there's no requirements bestowed on them, like you said. I mean, there's no, like you said, no practice, no this, no that, and they can choose to be in a competition or not, in an event or not. So, yeah, I like that. All right, so governing body, a tour. Now, what about teams? Now that we've talked about not being teams, what do you think about teams?
I thought about that for a little bit a while ago, like, because I was thinking about, you know, how do you bring sponsorship into disc golf, like major sponsorships, you know, like NFL, you know, like the stadiums and things are, you know, they have stadium sponsors. You you look at a lot of soccer teams. Their big thing is they have their sponsor on their jerseys.
Right.
Like, you know, if it's like Chevrolet or, you know, like anybody like Kohler, like that's
Like AIG.
yeah, something like that. Like they're on the sleeves or on the front of the jerseys. I think you bring the team you could bring the team aspect into, I mean, because we always talk about team, like this is a team, like, but yeah, I think you could have like a doubles competition or something, where you make disc golf like a points rather than like just score, like, you know, playing for the course. You put like so many points on like a doubles competition, so many points on like the FPO, MPO, and then at the end of the tournament or whatever the event is, you gather all those points and like say team Discraft wins or team, you know, Innova, like that kind of thing.
Right.
And that might be kind of fun. Like you could,
I think it'd be fun to see that.
yeah, you could
Like
get
a
a bunch.
President's Cup almost.
Yeah. Or yeah, you get
Like the college disc golf.
yeah. Or even, you know, like when Calvin and Eagle, like what was the All-Star event, kind of something like that. You could like make that almost like an every other event or every year event thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, because I was thinking about it too, like just going back to the sponsorship thing and getting, you know, that I feel like that would really fall on the manufacturers themselves to bring in sponsorships rather than trying to have individual sponsorships with players, you know. But it's hard in an individual sport to get like bigger sponsorships like that, unless it's, you know, for events.
It is, yeah. And it, you know, and like that's why I like the premise of like either the college national championships or the President's Cup. They kind of have similar where they're team events and they play women's, men's, doubles, and then there's certain point scales. You know, I mean, in the college disc golf, it changes a little bit from year to year, depending on how it is. But there's like tiered teams, A, B, C, D, you know. And I think that would be an interesting facet to disc golf that I think could be one of those side tours, like an additional tour where they could go play these auxiliary for something else. And then that would introduce more sponsorship money into it.
Well, you're seeing it a lot now too. Like I was just thinking, Kyle Klein just released his own signature Discmania jersey today, I think. But getting a major manufacturer on board to create team jerseys for like a team Discraft, and then like you could say, you know, like people are doing anyway, you're going to buy a Paul Macbeth jersey or something, and then, you know, looking at basketball and soccer again, they're selling these jerseys because they're team jerseys, and that looks better to sponsors because they know like through team apparel they're going to get bigger money. They can make
Exactly.
more money that way rather than just being like, oh, I bought this, Nike pullover shirt, because so and so wears it. It's like those companies like Adidas and those, like, there's no distinguishing. They've already infiltrated disc golf.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? They're like, well,
Terex is the disc golf shoe.
right. Like, we don't have to get in because we're already in. Like, we don't have to put any money into what you guys have because you're already using our stuff. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to make it look profitable to the big dogs to come into the sport and be like, we can do this for you.
No. Well, and VII does not lose out because they're still going to make the shirts or the jerseys.
Yeah.
They're just printing a name on them.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm thinking what you're right, like, so let's say, I don't know, Pepsi wants to sponsor a team. And then you would have Kyle Klein, Pepsi logo on the VII shirt.
Yeah.
VII is not losing out. As a matter of fact, they're probably winning because they're going to sell more.
Sure.
So it's not cutting out the little man. It's actually helping bolster, that business. So I think that's great. Let's talk about the standardization or not standardization of the courses or how they should look. I think that there really shouldn't be any standardization of the courses themselves.
I don't think so either. I don't know if there should be a minimum or maximum length as far as like distance wise. Like, like every FPO course has to be a minimum or maximum of this. Every MPO a minimum or maximum of that, just to kind of share. Like, I mean, what am I trying to say? Like, wear and tear on players' bodies throughout the, kind of limit it that
Couldn't
way.
there be a course rating?
Yeah.
Like a rating system, not like I'm going to give it 5 stars because my buddy designed it.
Are you talking about kind of like with skiing? Like, oh, this is a like blue black diamond or a blue square, like
Similar,
something like that.
Yeah. Like it has to be of a quality. Let's say it's 1 through 10. It has to be a 6.5 or above in order
Sure.
to be considered for the Pro Tour. So these are the Pro Tour or whatever tour would be in. They could set a standard that says, this gives you so many points, this gives you so many points, this gives you so many points. And if you add up to 6.8,
Okay.
you could be considered for the tour. So then it standardizes in a way that there's consistent look and there's, I guess, fairness of play. There's, course design factors. I mean, there could be so many different ways that you could look at it to where there is a certain level of standard of play or what would you say, like a competition that would be set with these courses, but they don't have to all be exactly alike. You can reach that score just through different means. So like De La Viega and LVC can exist on the Pro Tour or on the tour, being that they satisfy different requirements.
Sure.
So length may be 1 or whatever it may be. I like that idea.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what like Silver Series is always like one of those events where like they're just about like to, could hit that mark, but maybe they fall just a little short in a certain category.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Like
I
that.
also think there should be relegation.
Ooh.
That there's only so many tour cards out there.
Yeah.
So no matter whatever tour it is, there's only so many tour cards. So let's say there's 100 tour cards out there.
Yeah.
And then there's the second tour, the AM tour, the Silver Series tour, whatever it may be. So there's a second tour that's more the AM level or the Bush Leagues or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And let's say the top 5 guys from there relegate the bottom 5 guys from the Pro Tour or whatever tour the main tour is.
Being a soccer fan, I like that.
See, and that's where I got it from. I got it from what's the soccer one that came out on Hulu or
Ted Lasso, you
Ted
mean?
Lasso? Yeah,
Apple? Yeah.
Apple. That's what it was. Yeah, that's where I kind of got it from. I was like,
Okay.
man, that'd be cool if there was some sort of relegation program. But right now, you just go play them. It doesn't matter. I can go play them if I want to. Right
Yeah.
now, like I have no business truly playing in the Pro Tour, but I can go play them pretty easily. As long as I make the ratings cut off.
Yeah.
I can play them. Right now, I probably can't play them because those rating cutoffs are full by the time it gets to like 980 or
Sure.
990. But yeah, I think a relegation would be awesome.
I think that's a fun idea.
Yeah, I think it is.
It is. Because, like, man, yeah, like you think of the maybe financial impact to a player that might happen that way. That would suck for the player, obviously. It's like go play on it. But
Play better. Sucks to suck.
Right. Yeah. Brody Smith, you might be on the
Come on,
toilet
top
bowl
100?
tour.
No way. What is he, 46 now? Come
I
on,
don't
climb in. He
Okay.
started 59 in the beginning of the season.
That was like 70 something.
Oh, is he 70 something? He's like 49 right now. So even better.
Wow.
There you go.
Crazy.
You hear that, Tyler? I mean, person.
Little jab. Yeah.
I know I'm going to lose. Don't worry.
I was thinking about separating men's and women's tours, having separate tours.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think there's certain courses that play better for the men and then the women, and I'm sure there's courses that are too easy for the men that the women find challenging in that way. But the only way we can find out if that's sustainable is if it actually happens.
Right.
So,
And I don't think it. I'm not getting into the politics of those things. What it does is it allows. I mean, there's a very, very specific way successful businesses are successful. It's because they focus on what they're good at.
right.
They don't try to be everything to everybody. And I think the tour right now needs to focus on what they're good at and stop trying to be everything to everybody. Because that's what's happening. You get these, like, everybody gripes after every single tournament. There's a gripe. And then the next year, all those things change. And guess what? There's more griping. And it's kind of the squeaky hinge gets the oil in that regard. Just stick to what you're good at. Stop listening to the griping, or find another group that can help with
Sure.
that griping. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I think it's a very basic concept. So I like that idea of splitting them, because then you're not choosing one group over the other, and you're going to minimize the amount of the feeling of being left out. You're going to minimize that by splitting those groups up, because you're really going to focus on what the needs of this tour is and focus on what the needs of this tour is. And they're not trying to say, well, this would be awesome for the MPO. And then there's going to be that, well, what about the FPO?
Yeah.
Or this is going to be awesome for the FPO. Oh, yeah, but what about the MPO?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it'd be fun to have those two separate tours, but then all of a sudden you like circle around the country or whatever, and then you make it back to like Worlds and have Worlds be like the biggest event it could possibly be, like it is now,
I think
where
that's
everybody
beautiful.
just like comes together and plays, relatively the same courses.
right. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I also think that on the tour, no manufacturer should own a stop.
Ooh.
AKA USDGC,
Yeah.
AKA Ledgestone, AKA, go on and on.
Well, I mean, Ledgestone's not really a manufacturer. Oh, I mean,
Discraft.
Discraft sponsors it, but it's not.
Discraft,
Yeah,
D-Glow, Stiff Discraft,
I guess. But like Innova, like really owns.
USDGC is an innovative.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're 100% in control of it. I don't think that, especially being a major, an elite series,
Yeah.
like, there's no business that a manufacturer controls that. That should be a tour-controlled event. And I think it can still be brought to you by, I think it can still do all that stuff. But as far as the main things and changes and everything that's being decided, no other event on the Pro Tour has that latitude to make those changes.
Sure.
But USDGC does.
Yeah.
And they're going to whine about history and all that stuff of the event. And I don't care. Like, in my new world, that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
None. Let's see. I say that disc golf baskets should be standardized tray, chain, and band. As far as just, it has to be the same from event to event. Tray, chain, and band. Height, I don't care. But tray, chain, and bands has to be identical.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they have to be identical. Yes, it does. Let's just make it identical.
Okay.
I think because then it stops the complaining. Like, these don't catch well. like, oh, are these push out or these, like,
Yeah.
adjust your putt, you're a pro.
Right.
Like, but as far as height goes, I don't care. They can be in a hole in the ground, so I don't care. So, and then I think tee pads should be standardized across the board.
Yeah.
I think the complaints about tee pads can be minimized very easily. That if everybody knows it's throwing off turf, and they're going to be the same turf pads from tournament to tournament, or concrete pads, or however you want to figure it out, that should be there. Outside of that, go for it. And I don't think that there should be any leanings in broadcast towards manufacturers.
Ooh. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that, like, that's such a hard one because you always hear, oh, they're throwing this, they're throwing that, or because even getting certain people out on the, like lead card or anything, it's like, oh, this, you might get like 2 players from a certain manufacturer over 1 player from another, or or just
Yeah, and I don't think the manufacturer play is great. The all the signs, the advertisements, you got shirts, all that stuff. Like, I think it's awesome. Keep it, all this stuff. But the announcers announcing the discs that people are throwing, and I really don't have an issue with it, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And that will stop people from saying, because why would Pro Discus ever sponsor an event when their discs are never going to be named? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Innova's going to be, DD's going to be, Discrafts are going to be, because they're there. Prodigy might even be too, So I don't know, like, just keep that out of there, because that's going to invite smaller companies to compete against those bigger companies with their ad dollars.
Yeah.
So it's my idea anyways. Anything else you can think of?
I was trying to think of, like, more on the broadcasting side, but it's really hard because I like what Jomaz and like having, like a bunch of different people coming together, but it would be nice if there could just be more cameras for the tours. Like, if, like, say DGN were to buy, like, obviously I think Jomaz is actually worth more than the Pro Tour is actually worth, which is crazy. Like, you think like Jomaz could probably take over the Pro Tour.
Right.
But, just the idea of getting more cameras, having more dedicated footage, like each hole, like we're seeing it a little bit more now,
Right.
Like, let's jump to this card to see what was going on there. But just more coverage.
Right. Yeah. More coverage is always going to help. And I think, they make the parallels to golf.
Yeah.
Golf can do it, or they make the parallels to cornhole. They make the parallels, like, cornhole is a whole different story. It's a fixed event. You're not moving through a course. It's a finite area that you're in, and 2 cameras can cover the whole thing. Golf and disc golf are much different because it's acres and acres and acres of land, up and down, trees, like everything. But I think they could do a better job of broadcasting it. Like, was it Maple Hill last year that they did the tree stands?
I think so.
That was awesome. Like, I thought it was fantastic. And then that guy would climb down and go like 2 or 3 holes ahead.
Yeah.
Climb back up in the tree stand.
Yeah.
I thought that was awesome. So I agree with you.
Yeah. I think something I was thinking about golf courses, let players use carts.
Right.
Like, that would help speed up the pace of play, like, to be able to, like, get more, get out faster to your discs and move things along. I mean, you're still going to have backups, for certain things. But I think it'll save on players' energy levels, fatigue, it'll just help. And it might, if they're saving that energy, they'll be able to throw bigger shots or do whatever. And it'll just kind of make things a little more exciting, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. I always like it when we can go to tournaments. Like, our Fall Classic always has golf carts.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean, I don't know if the way the course is set up, I wouldn't want to walk it.
Yeah.
Like 2 rounds walking it, but
like getting out there and playing when we do, like we had league out there. I mean, we can make it. It's like 2.5 hours or whatever, but like up and down hills and like, it takes a lot on your body.
It's a lot. Yeah. And if you had to do that in a competitive atmosphere where you're actually going for, ratings and things and competing money wise, like it would be pretty taxing.
Yeah.
But with the carts, it's awesome. It's really awesome. So yeah, I like that idea. The idea that oh my goodness, I lost it. We can go on to the funny ones unless you have some more real ones. Oh no, anyways, the idea that one, I guess, broadcasting entity would be the person. Like, I'm not sure I technically agree with that. I would say event to event or series to series. I mean, like ABC, CBS, NBC, like all those. Like, you think about any other professional sport, they're going to pick it up for however much the NFL, the NBA, the MLB is charging, and they're going to broadcast those games.
Right.
Or
Well, yeah, because I mean, even right now, like obviously Disney owns ABC and ESPN, but you see that broadcast like, okay, we're putting these games on ESPN, we're putting this game on ABC or TNT, whoever. There's multiple companies, having the events on national TV.
Well, and the Super Bowl has gone
it's
many
flip-flopped.
different networks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's plenty of, I guess, standards that have been set across so many other that why not? Like Jomez. So they bought the coverage for what? 2 years?
Yeah. Something. Yeah.
Or 1 year for 500 or 2 years for 500. So they bought the coverage for that long. Like when it comes up, offer it up, RFP. If someone else wants to take it for a bigger price, let them take it for a bigger price. Like, who cares? As long as they can meet the standard of what you're looking for, why not? So I think that we should add circle 1 is 60 feet. There's no other circle. So there's just a circle at 60 feet.
Yeah,
That's
I like that. Can't jump putt.
Can't jump putt. So inside of that. So no step putts, no nothing. Standard putts inside of 60 feet. I also think that there should be 2 per round full contact inside circle 1
Yeah.
only. And you have to give a warning. Anything else?
Are we doing funny ones now?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We get into it.
Yeah.
Because I think that'll be much more exciting for viewership.
I think it'd be fun to have people in the woods with paintball guns.
Okay.
Just
How do we regulate it?
you don't.
You don't.
No,
you just
I
let
know.
them go
Just-
nuts.
Yeah,
like,
like
here's 100 paintballs. That's all you get.
yeah, like you get a certain amount, and like you just line up and fire on whoever you want.
All right.
Yeah. Once you're done, you're done. You have to leave.
Exactly. That's it. No more.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything to like, someone's lining up a putt and they're right about to release it. You pop them right in the butt and
But on a real note, I think the courtesy violations should be completely stripped from the game.
oh,
In my humble opinion.
yeah.
I think courtesy violations should be completely stripped from the game, and I think trash talk should become a standard.
Yeah. That'd be
Celebrations, all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I think the only thing that should be kept from courtesy violations is time.
okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
And give them 1 minute, because some celebrations need to go on for a little while.
Yeah.
Like, especially if there's team celebrations.
Oh.
But we need to give 1 minute, and that's it.
Yeah.
Every action you take when it's your turn, you get 1 minute. And if it includes a celebration or not, or even a wig out, it has to be done in a minute.
Yeah. Oh, going back to like we discussed this a couple podcasts ago, but self-regulation has got to go. Got to
Agreed.
have course marshals or officials with every card. That's what
Every card.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's beautiful. And they should have paintball guns.
Ooh, yeah.
And if you violate, they should get.
That's
you
better.
shoot.
I like
Okay.
that. But yep.
And then I think, I don't know if there's much else that I can think of. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that would make sense and have rational, reasonable, but it's also like pretty late at night.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like I said, I think they should be stripped. I think the 13-year-old or under caddy, who cares? It's your caddy.
Yeah.
And if there's no courtesy violations, let them have fun.
Sure.
As long as they stay behind you. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
What's the big deal with caddies, by the way? I've noticed over the week, like everybody's talking about caddies.
Yeah, someone else brought that up
There's
recently.
like 5 caddy discussions.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know why.
I mean, I like the idea of caddies, so we could talk about caddies. So in the tour that we're proposing is that caddies I think would be awesome, but I think they're provided by the tour.
That's a good idea.
Just
Like
have
you have to have a
caddies.
caddy card.
Yeah,
kind
there
of?
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have to, and when I say provided, as in you have to pass a caddy test.
Yeah. Right.
And there's a proper etiquette for caddy, and then they got to have a certain level of contact that they could make.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I think on a real note, caddies, I don't know if they're necessary. I think they'd be awesome to have in the sport, but like, what's the big deal about
I don't know.
caddies
It's
this week?
because like it's different because like on PGA, like they're carrying around the caddy book, they're providing information. I don't like, yeah, you get like the local player that comes and you're like, well, this is this, but like, I don't think touring professionals care about your opinion that much.
Right.
Other than them asking you like, or just bouncing off ideas off you for shots or
Right.
what, because like obviously like you like as a caddy or if you're local, you're like, oh, I can do this, but like think of the skill of the pro, like what take into account like what discs they throw, like
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like, so in the PGA, where the only other caddy is for any other sport, from what I understand and that I can think of, they're there because they know distances from certain objects. They know how the grass plays. They know how the greens are running. They know where the pin is placed on the green. They know, they know so many more things, and they know what your clubs are going to do. They know how your balls are reacting. They can help you with swing glitches. Like, they're more than just a buddy on a bag.
Yeah.
Like, these people know exactly what they're doing.
Right.
And they're probably more knowledgeable about the game than the player in most circumstances, and that course, because they're there. They got the yardages. They know how you're going to hit. They know exactly how you're going to play. They know your game just as well as you do. In disc golf, like, really? Like, if you don't know how far it is from, one thing to another, especially when we have rangefinders and all that stuff, like, it's just, you need to do better in your game.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I was thinking about rangefinders just because you brought it up. Like, I don't think rangefinders can be used during practice rounds, and they can only be used if we have caddies.
Oh, so the caddy is the only one that can use it.
The caddy is the only one that can use a rangefinder. The golfer cannot use the rangefinder.
Really? Reasoning behind that?
I think, well, if we're going to keep up with the 30-second shot clock,
Sure.
like
1 minute now.
Okay, well, 1 minute. Well, then, maybe.
Exactly.
I don't know. But I just think that you're good enough to know what, like, if you have all the information for you with a detailed or decent caddy book, you should be able to judge distances pretty easily. But I don't know, because if not everybody uses them. Some people use them, some people don't. But competitive edge, I think you just rely on your skill more than anything.
Sure.
I don't know.
So I think standardizing course markers would probably be more of a priority than even worrying about caddies.
Yeah.
This weekend, I'm going to try to get them finished, but I'm going to have course markers out or distance markers out at distance markers out at Wildberry.
Oh, wow.
So, and they're just going to be small blocks
that
are painted, and that'll signify how far away
you
are from the pin. So,
yeah.
And I'm only going to have them like 100, 150 footers because we don't have many holes that are over 300.
Yeah, that's true. There are.
So, but it'll give you an idea about how far you are away. We'll just try them out, see what they're like. But they'll be center fairway. They'll be just small, so if someone hits them, sucks. But we're going to try that. So,
cool.
So I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed that nonsense and useless talk, but I thought it was pretty fun and enjoyable to speak about. If there's anything you can think of, you can always hit us up, throwoutdoordisc.com, or you can jump on the Instagram page at night.owls.pod, night_owls_pod. On Instagram, and you can hit us up there. And remember, we have the black box from Discmania as a giveaway. Jump on there, interact with us, like, share, and
I know what I was gonna say. Last Monday we had the terms.
Yes.
Yeah. So Mike Harrington, super fan.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh,
He,
that's nice. Our stalker.
He messaged the Instagram page and he mentioned thrower as a term.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a pretty good one. You know, that's where you throw a disc and it turns into, you might get a decent shot and then it might turn over and turn into a roller.
Yeah, it's the unintentional roller.
Yeah.
So you actually meant to throw it and it ended up turning into a roller. And I'll give him a shout out real quick. So the Disc Barn, he is DGX, so Disc Golf Experience. I'm actually getting my sextants through him.
Oh.
So I text him right away and I was like, hey, did you get any? He's like, yeah. I said, can I buy 2 of them? He's like, well, they'll go up on sale. So he has some coming. So
Nice.
Disc Barn, there's your shout out. You can stalk me a little more. All right. And JP, where can I find you?
One night.owl on Instagram.
Awesome. And on Instagram, door_disc_golf. And JP's not giving out his OnlyFans anymore. So you got to find it. Peace.